All systems go. Clear for liftoff. What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, a.k.a. ToeTagginTambo, back for another edition of the Thursday Night Football Showdown show here on the SHIPIT Nation YouTube station. If you like free shows, you like NFL, you like DFS, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit that like, thumbs up on the way in. Got Hoop, got Title here with me as always, and we're going to be breaking down all things for the Steelers at the Bengals, an AFC North battle, we'll call it, but it's the old men tonight, Hoop. So I'm going to start with you. We got Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco, baby. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. Obviously, the combined age of the quarterbacks is 82, which I don't know. That's got to be like probably the first time, I'm assuming, in the history of the NFL potentially. In regards to DFS, like I think Joe Flacco in there makes this a more appealing game. The Bengals were able to move the ball quite a bit better against the Packers with Flacco in there over Jake Browning. Like, you know, Flacco knows how to do it. I mean, that's kind of what he's been doing the last couple of years when given the opportunity, get the job done in garbage time, essentially, find the top receivers. And Jamar Chase kind of got back on track, T. Higgins a little bit. So the offense is definitely better off. And that was just week one. So, kind of interested to see what happens. It is a tough spot. Pittsburgh does have a good defense, but I think the fact that Flacco is in there makes us way more appealing from a fantasy perspective. If we were dealing with another Jake Browning start, this would not be as exciting of a conversation as we get to have now, I think, with Flacco in there, which is wild to say because the dude's 41 years old. But, I think it's a fine game for fantasy. I think it's a game that, really what you kind of want is the Bengals to at least be able to hang today. And I think they do, and I think they have a chance to maybe win this game. I mean, these Thursday night games have been weird from a finishing standpoint. I mean, we saw the Eagles go down to the Giants last week. There was another upset, I believe, the week before. These Thursday night games have played kind of weird. I think the Bengals can go out and get this one. Another week with Flacco, which, again, they looked much better. So, kind of in a weird way, looking forward to this game.
Yeah, the commercial, someone said senior citizen discount available tonight. Title, I think it's a good one for DFS. I mean, we might have, we got 5 tight ends to talk about just when we get to that position, let alone all the other stuff. So what's your thoughts on this slate and how you doing, my man? What's going on?
Yeah, no, it seems like a pretty good DFS game. I agree. Flacco seems like an upgrade over Browning for the pass catchers. I think they move the ball better. Yeah, a lot of chaos we've seen on Thursday night. DFS-wise, though, you can leave money on the table. There's a whole bunch of tight ends. Multiple running backs are mixing in here and there. If there's a solo shipper up top, I would not be surprised. And anytime I think that's the case, that's always a good DFS slate.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's going to be very interesting. I'm excited to break this one down with you guys. Real quick, I posted this. So the golf one was going around again, and I had some fun with Mrs. Tambo last time. Mrs. Title, how many could she get? 10 NFL players. How do you think that would look?
I saw your thing. First of all, the Barrios, yeah, like Alex Earl, I believe it is. Maddie's or my wife's mentioned that too. She's like a big TikTok person, so I was laughing at that. How many could Maddie get? Probably about 10-ish. I mean, she doesn't love football. She doesn't watch too much. I'm always at the boys on Sunday watching, so she's not even like having to be around watching the game, so it's not even on the screen. Probably 10's about good. That's
what I said to my wife. You can name 10, perfect. If you can name more, go, and then maybe we'll do a bigger number. And she just hit 10 barely. She had freaking Hoop. She had Tucker the kicker. And someone said, did she mean Dicker the kicker? No, she just didn't know about the happy endings yet. And she had Justin Tucker on there from the Ravens fandom days. What do you think about Mrs. Hoop? I've hung out with Mrs. Hoop a few times. I think she could hold her own. What do you think?
Yeah. So it'd be, I think the first two would be pretty similar, like Kelsey and Mahomes. Like I think she would start there. She now is a full-on Chiefs hater. Like she cannot stand the Chiefs because the Taylor Swift stuff. She said she's over it. So anytime the Chiefs are on, she's rooting against them, which is kind of controversial in our household because my son's favorite player is still Patrick Mahomes. So he's like a big Chiefs guy. She is so anti-Chiefs. She goes, they always win. I'm sick of watching it. It's bullshit. Like she's over the Taylor Swift thing. She hates Kelsey, which I kind of do as well now, but I still like Mahomes. So she would definitely start Kelsey and Mahomes. And then I think it would be a lot of Lions. She got big into the Lions like last year, the year before when they started going on this run. We've gone to a lot of games. So I think it would be, it would be Kelsey, it would be Mahomes. She'd go to Goff, Amon-Ra, Gibbs, Montgomery, Jamison Williams, Aiden Hutchinson. It would all be Lions after that. You know what I'm gonna have? I'll have her do it after the show because she's
give
into
it
football.
a try. If you guys didn't see it, go to my ex at ToeTagginTambo. You can see it there. What my wife got, she had like misspellings. She put Braxton Dolphins, but it's like I didn't even know who that person title just said is, but it's like an influencer. And funny enough, we all know CMC, like obvious. She said something about him too. He's dating some girl that's on a reality show, and that's she didn't know CMC because of the same reasons we do, but just to have some fun. You guys know that's what we're all about. We do have some more fun upcoming, I will say. First of all, freaking Hoopster 6-0 now. This thing is not ending. So Hoop in the Golden SHIPIT last week, the winner took him on 6-0. Hoop got the job done again, and we still don't have the share ship. But I gotta say, everyone knows my 22 Tambo chain that I want to get instead of scat. Well, this 22 is a share ship this week, and it's the 555 milli. So whoever this winner is of number 22. This could be the good luck charm to get us popping for our first big cash in the share-ship. So excited to get that out of there. When you guys get a chance, make sure you hit that thumbs up. The more we get to it, we'll check at the halfway mark, see if we can get to that first winner. All right, get to the DFS stuff. Grand scheme overview title. Hoop kind of gave his thoughts a little bit with Flacco being in there, all of that. Do you see sort of a certain way this game is going to go out of the gate? And then what do you know about these 5.5 home dogs? Big time favorites over the betting world long term. It used to just be like an auto bet thing. Do you think there's any chance here for these Bengals at home?
I think there's definitely a chance. I mean, Steelers defense is good. I always love myself some Rodgers, but at the end of the day, it's an old-ass quarterback with pretty much one weapon and DK Metcalf. They're without a lot of other stuff. I could see the Steelers stalling plenty, and I think Flacco is an upgrade over Browning. They actually protected him a lot better than I thought as well. I mean, I don't want to shit on Browning too much because Burrow, Browning, they had no pressure. The old line looked as good as it has all year for him last year. If they can keep him clean in the pocket, like I think the Bengals will move the football and we'll have a pretty solid game there. Grand scheme overview, I mean, always go to the captain ownership, no one over 20%. Mm-hmm. What I'm struggling with is the quarterbacks for captain. Now, I can easily play Flacco at quarterback because I think there's enough he can spread it out with. Rodgers, I'm going back and forth because Rodgers and DK, he loves his man DK. Anytime he's single coverage, he'll look away the safety. He'll throw a deep ball to him. There he is. If Rodgers gets up like 23 DK points, which you probably want something around there, 21, something like that to be optimal, is there enough other guys that can like spread it out enough? And I think it would have to be just other guys getting touchdowns and DK probably not getting the touchdowns. So I want you to help me with the quarterback. I can play Flacco up top. He can spread it out enough. Rodgers, I'm a little more hesitant on, but I think it's clear. Like I'll be more chalky at captain in the sense of Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf. I think Warren's fine. Higgins is fine. But I did say chalky. It's not a Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts chalk or stuff like that. I mean, they're still under 20%. So that's why I think it's a good slate.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. I know we got our guys, and I'll answer that in a second, but we got our guys, Rio and Sheets, are going to be doing the premium Saber Series show based on Showdown tonight. It's going to be for members only. If you want to get in, you can join. Code SHIP19 gets you in. If you're doing any of the core or starter monthly plans with all access, you can check it out. This is the best day because you get Thursday through Monday, all the other sports that go with it. So definitely recommend that. But I'm interested to see because I think like Rodgers up top is a lower scoring game. And then I could see where it works out because he's usually going to be like the 200, 2 touchdown, 3 like if it's that kind of game, that's where maybe it could matter. But then I'd hope to see more of like the kickers or more of like defense. Like it could still be something more where it's not him just spreading it around. The Flacco side makes it easy because you have with Chase, Higgins, Yoshi, if it's Fant or Sample, whatever you want to do that, like you could easily see him spreading it around. But I actually have less interest in the quarterbacks up top today than usual. But I would agree with your assessment on the other side. New ones that said this. Our guy Derek, he must be taking a break or gave the class a little movie break or something. They got to go do while he's watching the show. Lucky number, favorite show, and then Badlands making the good reminder there. It is week number 7 as well. So you're mixing Lady Luck, and my number is 22 as well. So I love that call. Maybe we do get a big one this week with SHIPIT Games. Hoop, Anything else you want to add to everything Title just went through as far as breaking it down? I mean, you already talked about the Bengals at home, but just making sure.
Yeah, pretty similar. I will say I just you saw me step away. I went upstairs and Mrs. Hoop is on the case. She's gonna text me the 10 players that first come to mind. She goes, 10? She goes, that's a lot. So I don't know what we're gonna get. So she was not thrilled with
Don't let her cheat.
10. Nope,
you know what else? The Lions thing might be cheating. It might be like a three home team max when you live like there. Come on, you're gonna name 3 Lions quick. There's 3.
But I will guarantee. I mean, Mahomes and Kelsey will be on that list. I feel like any sort of wife, girlfriend that's not deep into football, like those are going to be the first 2. Like I have a feeling those are going to definitely be the first 2 names. He's so popular
now. He was even number 1 on my like he just popped up. Like it's automatic because he's everywhere. Everyone gets these notifications. If you've got kids, they're all Swifties, etc. Things like that typically. So you're going to see. And she just dropped an album too, so you're going to see it a bunch for sure.
She's dropping albums. He's dropping passes. I mean, everything's going
I do like that. Is very true. Very, very true.
All right, what do you got, Hoop?
It's pretty much the same thing. Where I struggle with the quarterbacks, especially like Aaron Rodgers. Like if Aaron Rodgers has a big game, like it just almost has to go through DK Metcalf. He loves him. Like look at these other pass catchers that he's going to be throwing the ball to. So that's where I struggle when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. Like I just feel like if Rodgers has a big game, like a really big game, DK Metcalf just goes off. Like to me, I just don't see a lot of spreading it around stuff. So that's where I struggle with him. And then when it comes to Flacco, I mean, it's Joe freaking Flacco. Like, man, like, can I really envision him being the captain? Like, so what did he do last week? He got 18.8 fantasy points. He threw the ball 45 times, 220 and 2 touchdowns. Like, what is it going to take for him to be up there? Probably a lower scoring game where, 20 is the winner. I mean, a lot of his stuff, I'm assuming, goes through Jamar Chase. So he would have to spread it out. It would obviously have to be Chase and Higgins spreading it out quite a bit between those two. And then maybe like one of the tight ends gets something. So I really struggle with those guys. Like, Title, I think, kind of alluded to it, where it just feels like one of these guys will have the big game, whether it's, Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf, T. Higgins, Jalen Warren, I guess maybe Chase Brown. I think that's a somewhat interesting name. He has to get squeezed up there. I mean, he's done nothing. He didn't do anything last week. I don't know if I really like him up there. I mean, he's a guy that I think if you guys have interest, you could potentially talk me into him. But, like, I really like these pass catchers today. I think one of them gets the job done. The Trey Hendricks thing is definitely disappointing. That sounds like he's not going to play in this game. In regards to, not disappointing, I'd say in regards to the Bengals being able to put up a better fight or potentially winning him out is pretty big. Obviously good for the Pittsburgh offense. So, I mean, the dude might be definitely one of the best defensive players in the NFL. So I probably won't be doing anything too crazy. And I currently lean like not playing one of the quarterbacks up top. I guess I've kind of hit on a couple times. I just really like DK Metcalf today. I think this is going to be a big DK Metcalf game, and I might take a pretty aggressive stance on him. Like he's showing up, 13% captain ownership. I might do something crazy with him today and hope he kind of goes off, because I feel like he could have a really, really big game here. I mean, look at the other names, the other pass catchers that Aaron Rodgers would be throwing the ball to. I mean, Scotty Miller, Roman Wilson, and then like 4 different tight ends potentially. Like I really like DK today up top.
Yeah, I was just looking at some stuff here to see if I could just build out a rough idea of it and what actually fits in. I'm not going to go through it all live, but I'll just say like one thing that stood out to me, Title, when I kick it back to you just for some other thoughts up there, is like the 2-4 is definitely in play today. Like it's, if you, whatever you want to look at it, we always talk about your big one at the Millie Maker, where you got like 113,000 with Worthy, and then you just had him as the captain with, I think it was Mahomes, and then 4 other guys. Whatever I forget who was it, Pacheco in there, or was it Mahomes?
It was Mahomes.
Mahomes, yeah. So you had the 2-4 set up. I could see that today with like, that's all it is. It's Rodgers and it's Metcalf, and then you get 4 Bengals in the flex, or it's Jamar and Flacco, or Higgins and Flacco, and then you get 4 Pittsburgh guys in the flex, and just see how the game goes that way, because you'll be able to leave money on the table. You'll be able to do just a ton of different stuff, and that could be the way it goes. I think the other thing that's interesting, at least the Metcalf one, is spot on. I mean, Hoop and I are completely dialed in on that one. It's the other side where it's $2,000 difference, so it's not like you can't find it quickly. I think the bigger thing about the Chase versus Higgins thing for me, title, is that you can easily find the $2,000. So the ownership is easily going to be Jamar Chase. He wears the number one. He is what everyone knows is the number one. But we've seen a ton, even in a long-term sample size with Burrow, et cetera, where when Higgins is healthy and plays, there's definitely some value to have him there. And if Flacco decides to lock in on him, or if they decide to lock down on Chase, then it opens up for Higgins. I don't think as many people will get there tonight because they're going to just have the money to spend, no problem, with all those other positions.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably true, which could lead to Chase getting a little steam. I'm going to play Chase. I'm going to play DK. I don't love the quarterbacks much. Higgins is someone I really like at ownership. He's had a lot. I mean, his air yards have been solid. He just hasn't connected. But I do think Flacco, again, is an upgrade for the passing game. Jaylen Warren, I mean, we're looking touchdown props on the slate. Only one guy favored to score, which is Jaylen Warren at -130. Chase Brown, the second best at +110. So, I mean, the second best touchdown prop, pretty low owned at captain. He also can catch some dump offs. He'll be a guy that I'll be playing a little bit up top. So when we get to like the flex spot, P. Ryan is mixing in a lot more with Chase Brown than it was to start the year and projected. I'm not going to play P. Ryan captain, I don't think. But when we get to flexies in play, and it does make Chase Brown a little more concerning. And Kenny Gainwell, he's ever since his big Sunday morning game in London or Dublin or whatever it was, like he and Jaylen Warren have split pretty heavy too. I think I am going to play a little Kenny Gainwell at captain. He's +180 to score a touchdown, which is 5th on the slate. He's going to be low owned. I'm fine playing some of these cheaper captains. I know I don't say it many slates, but a game that we can see going on the under, Flacco can spread it out a good bit. If DK does get clammed, I mean, someone has to do stuff on the Pittsburgh side. Jonnu Smith, Darnell Washington. We'll definitely talk Darnell. He'll be pretty popular in the flex at his price, but I mean, he's a big guy. Rodgers likes him in the red zone. If he scores 14 today, is that enough to be up top? Maybe it's enough to jam all the studs. Because I don't like quarterbacks too much, and Chase, Higgins, DK, outside of them, it's pretty wide open. I do find myself getting into some lower tier captains, lower price captains, more so than I have all year.
Yeah, I like there's something there, and I know Hoop. I saw we got the list coming in a second, guys, so just stay with us. But I will say quickly, there is something to be said for that stuff later, because like the discount on Darnell, he's getting you the same ownership roughly right now as Jonnu, and that's the $2,000 you have it. So sometimes it's just that, even though there's similar ownership, it doesn't really work out that way. It's that I think a lot of people are getting to Washington lineups and spending the majority of their salary. If you're spending the majority of your salary, you can either leave that money on the table if you like Washington, or you could spend a little bit more and use Jonnu, where he may end up coming in under if that ownership continues to spread that way. The other thing is Fant versus Sample. On the other side, it's like a $3,000 difference, so we'll see that. But real quick, before the list, if you're a member, this is a huge advantage to you. We talk about it all the time. If you're a member at another site using SaberSim and you're not with us, I mean, we already have the same partnership. We have the same price or lower. We have these SHIPIT games giving away almost $80,000. You can move over here at any time. We talk about Project Jump Ship. But one of the huge advantages is all the tutorial videos, first of all, where our guy Sheets does for all sports, his process. He even does it when there's an updated version of Saber, like he did for PGA, but he just did one for NHL. This is I would say, like top 10 player in the world. Again, it's arguable across everything, but across all sports, the fact he's in the niche streets and all that, like this is a huge advantage. And then you guys know about our guy, Hebrew Cheetah. Rio's just crushing every sport, crushing with SaberSim. They're doing these shows every single week for NFL, and they're all labeled there. There's a late swap show. If you want to get better, at using SaberSim or use it to your advantage, and you're not a member at SHIPIT Nation, you're missing out. The Saber series is all included across, and we're going to continue to grow this as we keep going like everything else. We just keep adding on. So get in, use code SHIP19. Sign up for the newsletter, too. It's right there, TNN, like CNN, but the Nation News. You can get all the info, what's going on around our site, around the company, around the community. Hoop, what do we got for the list, man? It came through. You got the 10?
Yeah, the nice thing about those videos, just add on, I mean, it's evergreen stuff. Like whatever they're talking about in there can be applicable to, kind of any sort of slate. I mean, there's nuggets of information out there that is that you can use for anything, multiple sports, other sports. So it's very quality stuff for sure. TNN that's very legit, way better than CNN. I would never turn that crap on.
Yeah.
So the list is somewhat surprising, and I will say she went with 13 names and then ... I could keep going. So some arrogance.
Oh.
Arrogance.
But wait, we got to get the Lions thing in here first. Let's hear.
Okay, so yes, it does. It starts with a barrage of Lions players. All right, so it starts with Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Aiden Hutchinson, and then Montgomery. So the first 4 are Lions, and that's where it ends. So she left Gibbs off the list. Montgomery over Gibbs and J-Mo. So Goff, St. Brown, Hutchinson, Montgomery. Then she pivoted to Josh Allen, who she likes Josh Allen. I don't know, whenever we watch it, she thinks he's good looking. So I'm sure that's why it's at the top of the list. So she pivoted to Josh Allen and then made another pivot to some 49ers players out of nowhere. Like pivoted to 49ers players. Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle.
Wow.
George Kittle's on the list.
He's got a podcast now. He's got a podcast now. So people know about him and his wife and all this stuff. So
then the next one is probably the most surprising on the list. Bosa. She goes to Bosa.
Interesting.
Well, that's definitely a good looking there. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and she likes McCaffrey too. Yeah, so now I see what's going on. She's watching football to check out these dudes. It looks like. And then to the obvious ones: Mahomes, Kelsey, Kaito will like this one. Justin Jefferson.
Yes, sir.
Justin Jefferson, and then JJ McCarthy, Dak Prescott.
JJ McCarthy. What's going on?
Michigan, I'm assuming. So, and then Jefferson, she watched that wide receiver show. So I'm assuming that's why she went there. And that was her next comment. I watched all those shows and now you have me watching football.
Oh yeah. George Kittle was on that too. Remember he was the tight end. That's
yes.
So she knows way more than definitely my wife and Tambo's. I mean,
but I'm saying this Lions thing is like Canadians. We don't have a team. And so maybe that's why my wife had a couple Ravens. So I guess it's fair to have a couple, but she had Lamar and she had Tucker from watching back before. But I'm saying, I think like in general, you can't let them fill it up with 5 of your hometown team that they see everywhere.
All the time. But she definitely got to the 10 outside of the Lions, it looks like, or 9, and she claimed she could have kept going. So I think she's probably above average when it comes to that. Let's take it easy now. Like I am definitely not going that route. Hoopster does well in the sheets. I don't need to wear other dudes' jerseys. I can promise you that.
Jeez, man. Bosa, though, is the most unique. Like, I don't know if him being on any shows or anything. So you really do got to be careful about that one, like you said. So might be a hall pass, Nick Bosa.
I think I have a reason why. I just don't want to piss anyone off.
All right.
Don't want to bring that politics into it. It gets a little People get a little upset.
That's all you had to say right there.
Yeah. I think that might be part of the reason.
We got an NP policy, so we always talk about it. No politics, but it is fun when we just hit the little side notes to it and people just get glimpses. Title, back to you. Anything else you want to mention? If not, we can go to the running backs. But I think
that is a good one. Get the crop top Bosa jersey.
Come on. All right, running backs. No, I mean, I think there's 5 running backs in play. The last one, Caleb Johnson, feels like just a really large field kind of thing. Their rookie who, he was getting no snaps earlier in the year. He's getting 15, 20%. Again, most people probably watching this playing less than 20 teams, so I wouldn't worry about him. But I would worry about the other 4, Chase Brown, P. Ryan. I mean, P. Ryan's continued to close the gap on Chase Brown, and he's their third down back. He's a pass catcher. If he goes 4 for 30 today, that's 7 points. Maybe that's enough. I don't know. We got him at 10%. That's low enough where I'll take some shots. I think Kenny Gainwell might be my favorite. I'm good with Chase Brown, but Gainwell really closed the gap on Jalen Warren. And we're looking at a $2,000 savings. And we have about 40% Warren, 19% Gainwell. If he's going to be half the ownership, he's cheaper than Chase Brown, than Warren. He's on the field. He's plus 180 to score. One touchdown from these guys, especially if we think the under can't hit in this, 1 touchdown on the ground from Kenny Gainwell. I'm definitely taking that. And he's fine catching passes out of the backfield too. So I think at ownership, seeing him at 19%, he's probably my favorite. But I do think all 4 running backs are very much in play. I'll throw it back to you on, are you good playing 2 of them on the same team? And if you do, how does that lineup look and game script look?
I don't know about that. Yeah. I guess if you do go with the Caleb stuff, I think there's a possibility because it's you can play Caleb and Gainwell for the same price as Warren almost. So it's at least then you look at it from a price perspective, but does it even make sense? I don't know. And so that's the tricky part. We do have Hamilton High School graduate Caleb Johnson heading back to Cincinnati for the homecoming game tonight, if you want to roll with that. But plus 600. And then Ricky Pearsall came in, still in the chat cooking here, said, I think they try to boost his confidence, assuming they are ahead. And again, I think that would be the case. So back to like, how do you do it? I don't know, but at least it's a game script thing. I liked your call earlier on Gamewell, though. Like, I definitely think there's something to that. And with $2,000 off at half the ownership, definitely think that's a possibility versus in other spots we're not seeing that. Like we talked about it earlier. We'll get to tight end later, but Darnell is $2,000 less, same ownership as John. And I think it's different value plays, but at running back, I think it's 6,400. Gainwell's fine. Actually, I had interest in him, as does the Stone. Is a little bit comfortable with them, at least at the captain slot. So I think there's different builds that could fit. And to me, maybe that's it. Like Gainwell does enough that if Gainwell was captain, maybe then it's like, all right, now we can just hand the reins to Caleb. Gainwell had a big game, but even then it's tricky to think about with the way it sets up. But at least those two from a price perspective could work. And then I think P. Ryan, it's not about anything against Chase Brown. It's just like if the Bengals are down in this game, I definitely think you could see P. Ryan mixed in a lot more. I'm off the captain takes now, more in the flex, like I said, but the P. Ryan thing could definitely become a thing at 4,400. Hoop, what do you think here at the running back position?
Yeah, pretty aligned with what a lot of what Title said, and Gainwell jumps off the page at me. Like I think Gainwell is a phenomenal play, and this is usually the spot where I don't love in showdowns, like the backup running backs, but like they clearly found something that week. I believe they're in London, where he played really well, had 6 catches. No one really assumed he'd have that sort of role last week with Jalen Warren back, and it was basically the same thing minus the carries. 6 targets, 6 catches. Still got 6 carries for 22 yards. Looked good. I think he's a really good play. I think a lot of outs to get there, and the ownership definitely will get held in check. Like he's going to get some, but it's like, man, you have starting running backs right above him. Chase Brown's only 1,600 more. Jalen Warren's only 2,000 more. Like it'll get held in check. It's not going to get anywhere crazy. I think Gainwell's a really good play. Really like Warren as well. The Chase Brown stuff I think is fine. The price is cheap. I mean, he's at 8K. Like he doesn't have to do anything absolutely crazy to be optimal in flex. Are you guys playing him captain? Just final thoughts, like for Chase Brown. Gainwell? Chase Brown.
I am. He's plus 110 to score, and I just don't like the quarterback. Like after you get Chase Metcalf, kind of like where are you going? So I am.
Yeah. You have interest?
I'll play a little just because the setup of it all, but because he's 12K and because I don't really love the quarterbacks, but he'll definitely be lower on the spectrum for sure.
I definitely prefer him more than the quarterback. I'm not as high on P. Ryan. Like if he gets into some lineups, that's fine, but it's like still at like 4,400. Like to me, again, it's that awkward price where you probably have to do something pretty real to be there. And I don't know, like maybe he does. And if he does, whatever. Like I'm not going to be high on P. Ryan. And then the Caleb, what's the Caleb Johnson deal? This is where he's from or something?
It's a high school thing. The chat was saying it's, I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening, but the plus 600 to score an anytime touchdown. Some said he could be inactive. Does look like there's some articles and some beat writers and stuff talking about him coming back for the homecoming game and seeing that they think they could.
Sure. Okay. I'm out on that then. No thanks.
There's not going to be anything major with that stuff.
Super low owned. Again, most people aren't playing 150. The thing about P. Ryan quick is like we have Washington, we have Fant, we have Jonnu Smith. Like all of them are cheaper who project better and will definitely be higher owned. So he's like a pivot, I guess, in that range. But build accordingly. It's more so if they're trailing and stuff, he's out there for pass catching work.
Yeah, I mean. I'm not too excited about that play, but I am excited about Gainwell. I think Gainwell's a great play, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if, what are we showing for ownership on that? Let's see. We got
Gainwell?
19 in the flex.
Yeah, I think that's probably where it's at, like right around 20, and I think he could have a big game here. So I really like Gainwell and Jalen Warren, and I'm not going to actively build it out, but like in my 150, I'm not opposed to playing them in the same lineup. I mean, the guy went 6 catches in his last 2 games. So I'm not opposed to playing him and Warren together. Again, if I'm hand building teams, I'm never doing it, but like in the 150, I'd be fine if some of that popped in there.
Yeah, we'll get to the other stuff in a second. The chat's starting to hit on it, but we'll see if it comes around or not. But yeah, I like the setup that you have there. Do you want to start us off on wide receiver hoop and move to that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of viable options just because of the Pittsburgh situation where they're down, a couple wide receivers. So obviously, the main three are the clear, raw projection point guys. Jamar Chase, I think he's phenomenal in all formats. DK Metcalf, I love DK tonight. T. Higgins, fine. Probably lower owned than those other two for sure. And it could be T. Higgins, like Title said. He's getting a lot of looks deep, hasn't really converted. I think he's a fine option. After that, it gets somewhat ugly, but super cheap. Like it's ugly stuff, but these guys are just very, very cheap. Yosivas, 4 targets last week. I mean, did nothing with them, but 2,800 going to be on the field. I think he is fine. You got, just random cheap dudes. But the problem with after Yosivas, like these guys are somewhat playable, but we have a lot of tight ends who I just feel much better about for cheap. I will say that. Like you start looking at some of these names, Scotty Miller for 1,000, like risky play, probably gets 0, but has a chance to be on the field. This Roman Wilson guy for 1,200 probably gets 0, but will be on the field and, is going to have some opportunities. Ben Skoranek probably gets 0, but he's going to be on the field and has some opportunities. So like all 3 of those guys are playable. I wouldn't go crazy with any of them, wouldn't go way overweight. If I'm hand building, I'm probably choosing the tight ends over them. But if you're playing a lot of teams, I think you can get exposure to all 3. Scotty Miller, Wilson, and Skoranek, 1,000, 1,200, and $200. Like doesn't do anything for your lineups, and that's probably it. I mean, I think it's those top 3: Chase, Metcalf, Higgins, Gap, Yosivas, Gap, all those other cheap dudes.
Yeah, you sum that up right. I think the interesting part is more like, and we'll get to tight end later. Obviously, ownership looking like, it's off a little bit. We'll see if it can be bumped up even further. But I think from that perspective, the Yosivas thing is the one that stands out most because he's right there, the same price as Fant. Again, not exact same price. I shouldn't say same price, but very similar price to Fant, to Washington, to Jonnu, to however you're looking at it. If it's P. Ryan, whatever it is there, and it's like P. Ryan has the ownership, but the others definitely do. So I actually think Yosivas, outside of the yesterday was his birthday narrative and all the other stuff, it's more of just he's actually involved. He's out there. He's 2,800. Maybe he steams a little bit as well. But for me, Title, that's the spot I'm looking at outside the obvious big 3, which we already know. And to me, like I said, the way that we play them differently is mostly for me in captain, where I am going to be looking at some 2-4s, some 3-3s that have one of those guys up top and then get unique in the flex or just leave the money. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for that on this slate. But what do you think here with the wide receivers and then other ways just to build with them?
Yeah, nothing to say about the top 3. Obviously, good plays. I'm totally in on Yosivas. I mean, my friends will make fun of me. I like Yosivas a lot on small slates. He's on the field when he had Burrow and stuff. He was always low owned. He's an athletic guy. Yeah, but man, 4 targets. I think he dropped like 3 or 4. Like it was, and they were clear drops. It was really bad. But without Mike Gesicki, who's hurt, without Tanner Hudson, who's hurt, like I just don't think the Bengals want to run too many 2 tight end sets with Sample and Fant. And if they don't, that means a lot of 11 personnel, and it's clear Yosivas will be on the field almost every play. If that's the case, a receiver at 2,800 in what's expected to be a trailing game script, I'm definitely playing Yosivas. I don't know, a captain, maybe if I had a sprinkle, I think I'm playing 75 in the 20. If I get a sprinkle, I might not exit. I'm not going to advocate for it, though. Steelers side, yeah, I mean, they'll definitely run a lot more 12 personnel. They got plenty of guys that we'll get to when we get tight end position. Freiermuth, Washington, Jonnu Smith. No Calvin Austin, though. So it's DK Metcalf, and then it's just a rotation of these scrubs. Like, we know what Scotty Miller is. He doesn't even have a prop, or receiving yards prop on DK, whereas Roman Wilson's 8.5. I'm going to just, I guess, embrace some Roman Wilson. We have him super low on 4.88%. If you have 10% in your double, before the year, Rodgers was hyping this dude up. Like, he really liked what he saw in Roman Wilson. I'm going to hope that he gets more snaps than Skoranek, than Scotty Miller. Again, if someone's on the winner, I want some upside. I think Roman Wilson, of those group of guys, has the most upside there. So, again, he's 4% owned. You have 10, 11. You're double the field. that's really all I got. I mean, the tight end and running back room is a lot stronger than receiving room outside of those top 3 guys.
Yeah, it's like an interesting thing though tonight. It's why the dynamic of the slate, and I always say it when I love it, this is definitely one I love, is that like you guys are both right when you say like the tight ends more interesting than these backup wide receivers of any kind, but it's also like people just think they know at tight end. It's you still got to run that wheel 5 times and hope to land on the right spot. And that's why you have a portfolio. I know somebody earlier, I think it was our man, Steven Neighbors, shout out to him, always in here supporting and appreciate that. But I think he said, man, I got to play light tonight because there's just so much going on. And if he's not playing a bunch of lineups, he's feeling a little bit uncomfortable. And that's perfectly fine because I think that's why, right? You're seeing, even look at the stone, look at the cash considerations, look at the high upsides, all the GPP selections. Like there's just so many ways that you could go. I think we're going to see two different GIFs in the Discord tonight, and it's going to be Yoshi Smash Bang, and it's going to be Scotty Doesn't Know, because I think that's the guy. Like it's 4 and 7%. I'm going to have some Roman Wilson. I like your take of like Rodgers bringing him up at the beginning of the season. It pops up out of nowhere. This is the type of slate to take a shot on that. Like this is where it gets you different. This is where it can win you all the money. We've seen a ton of unique shippers to start the season in Showdown. That's why we love this game still and why we talk about edge still exists. It's people got to spend, like so many people, by the way, and it's not to be rude, it's just to be factual. People send out like, I was just 2 guys away in Showdown, like 2v2. I'm like, buddy, there is 6 spots and there is people with 0v0s who had the captain flip wrong. Like you're not close. It's
everybody's 2 for 2.
Everybody's 2v2. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, it's good to check in on, I would say your progress is your process. Like that's part of it. Like if you got your progress coming along, you stick with the process and you keep it rolling until it happens. But in this case, that's one thing I always call out in Showdown. It's like a lot of people think they're close and they're not really that close. So it's like a situation again where, you want to have more lineups. You got enough action on it. I think Scotty, Roman, those guys could be in the mix tonight. So I like that. I mean, it's pretty obvious it's DK, but I think the thing about the Steelers side and title, we can segue that into the tight end position, is people are way more comfortable with Jonnu and definitely even Washington than they are with Scotty or Roman because they don't know. But that was my previous point of like people, the tight end's way better tonight. Probably is, but there's 5 of them to pick from. And here, at least 4 of them versus nobody really wants Scotty and Roman, and they're on the same team, same receiving core as Jonnu and Darnell. And I know you mentioned like with Darnell's ownership, maybe it could be even higher, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just like he led the tight end room in snaps last week. He's box score watching. He's fine. Like he's a big option down below. he's a big option in the red zone. So, but like you're saying, I mean, it's more comfortable playing Jonnu, Darnell, these guys. They're going to be on the field more, but it's also you're way more likely to be duped if they do get there. The ownership, I think, is a good amount higher. But yeah, I mean, I think Darnold's a great play for the price, definitely in cash consideration. Jonnu, he's an athletic tight end. Again, if you're talking about Scotty Miller, Ben Skoranek, and Roman Wilson as receiver 2, like Jonnu Smith might as well just be up there as the number 2 option. We saw him in Miami. Like he can catch the ball, turn upfield, and make a play. Does he seem a little? No, he doesn't even seem overpriced. I like him at 4K quite a bit. I keep seeing our man Derek talk about Noah Fant, and I agree. So there's 2 tight ends. Gesicki got hurt earlier in that Packers game. Then Tanner Hudson got a concussion. So they're looking at Noah Fant, Drew Sample, the definition of a blocking tight end, and then I don't know some random other guy. Like Noah Fant's the clear pass catcher for the Bengals that's going to be out there, and that's why I like Yoshi Voss quite a bit because I think they're going to be forced to run more 11 personnel than they might want to. But they're the clear tight ends: Fant, Jonnu Smith, Darnell. At the ownership, like I'm good with all 3 of them. You can definitely play Darnell and Jonnu together. They'll be on the field. You can play Noah Fant. You can play all 3 of them in lineups. After that, again, if you're playing a bunch of teams, Freiermuth, Sample, sure. But I think, Sample's $600. Freiermuth seems overpriced at 3K. It'll keep his ownership down. I'd be lying if I was excited about him, but 1 touchdown from either of them in this game could be enough for optimal. So guys that are going to be on the field that are cheap, it'd be a shame. It'd be a mistake probably to X them out if you're playing a lot of teams. If you're only playing 5 or less, you don't got to get there probably.
Yeah, this one's come up a lot, and I did want to address this because I definitely think this is possible as well on a slate like this, where depends on how the game goes, of course, and it's harder when you have these top end wide receivers up top. But we've definitely seen it happen. It feels like, to be honest, I don't have full numbers on this one, and I would prefer to, but it feels like Jets and Broncos. It's like Russell Wilson when he was with the Broncos. It's Aaron Rodgers when he was with the Jets. Like you'd see like a Garrett Wilson captain, no Rodgers needed, right? Same type of setup here. So maybe you could see that. I definitely think it's a possibility, but it's tough to say. Hoop, what do you think about it?
Yeah, just because there's so many different guys they can throw the football to, and they could really spread it out. So yeah, I'm fine with it. In regards to the tight end, I don't have much else to add on to what Title said. I think it's a strong position. I think Darnell Washington at 2,000 is a very good play. I mean, what's the one thing we know about Aaron Rodgers over the years? When he starts to develop something with guys, like he'll keep going to it. And that's why I like the Gainwell stuff today. That's why I like this Darnell Washington stuff today. Jonnu Smith is fine. Noah Fant at 3,600, I think, is totally fine. I know our guy Derek in the chat has been talking about it. Yeah, I'm good with Fant. I mean, this isn't just some random tight end. Like, he's had success in this league. So I'm in with him. Freiermuth, I mean, a little more risky, but going to have substantially lower ownership than the other guys. He'll be in the pool. Drew Sample, 600. And is it a slate where we need somebody in the hundreds? Could be. He's 600. He's going to be on the field. Fine with that. But those top three just seem very, very strong to me. Smith, Fant, and Washington.
How many tight ends are too many in your lineup tonight? Because we keep talking about it being potentially, again, we're not saying a stand here. We're saying, but if it was a lower scoring game, division, AFC North, classic division battle type, like let's say that happens, how many tight ends could you see in there?
I could see 3. I think 4 is probably too many, but especially with Sample at $600, like there's no one cheaper that's even viable. Well, actually, I take that back. Skronik's 200. But I think Jonnu's going to be on the field with Washington in 2 tight end sets. Both have touchdown upside, and then you got Noah Fant. Like, I think if I played all 3, I'd be fine. Or you play Sample instead of one of them. Not my favorite build, but
how many people are going to have a 1v1 tonight title? They got the tight end wrong. Like, if I just played this tight end instead, how many are going to have that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're saying 1v1s for a sport like baseball or like main slate NFL, like, yeah, you were really close. That's tough. Like Showdown, everyone's 1v1s away in Showdown.
Yeah. What about this one, Hoop?
Is that it?
The mid salary to let it go at the default 45. What do you think on a slate like this?
Certain slates, I don't know. For Showdown, I'm fine letting it go. I mean, it seems like you can get some lineups that leave a ton of salary on the table, and I think tonight's one of those. Like, tonight's definitely one of those where leaving a ton can be the route to go. So, I mean, for me personally, I'm good letting it run.
Yeah, I think. What do you think, Ted? I'll let you roll first with it. What's your take on this, and kind of compare it to tonight, because I think that's one of the conversations as well.
Yeah, no, I usually lower, and then if I get lower teams, like I look at what those look like. But Yoshivas at 2.8K, Chase Brown at 8K, right there, that's 5,200. I mean, is it likely that happens? No, but would it be absolutely shocking if Yoshivas outscored Chase Brown today? No. So when just looking at something like that, if I can see it happening, and that's right there, that'd be lower than 45K. So I always lower it, because the lower the salary, usually the less of the dupes. But I look at those teams, like I want them to make some sense. I just don't want, hey, Sample, Pirine, Fant, Jonnu, when I could upgrade to all these other guys. Like I think that's bad.
Yeah, I think this is a slate where you can easily leave 10K. And again, are you really going to set it up for that or force it? Probably not. I'm just saying there's definitely going to be, when you look at some of these unique max entry guys out there that you'll see tonight, there's definitely some validity tonight to like whatever you get up to 48.5 and just stop. Like it's too grand. Again, you'll block yourself out of potential winners because way more people play those types of lineups if they get there in whatever type of game it is. But just to Title's point, I mean, we've seen slates where Dotson is needed over AJ Brown. What was that? $9,000 or something? $8,000? Well, there you go. Again, I highly doubt it tonight, and the odds are not in your favor. But if Scotty Miller outdoes Metcalf somehow from one big grab, and Metcalf only has a couple catches and the others, anything can happen. So I think just thinking about that when you're building, it's just more of like, I'm not looking to go 49.9 and 50K on all my lineups. Like, that's just not going to happen in Showdown. That's part of the edge. No matter what anyone else tells you, like that's part of it. It's like if you're trying to actually win money at Showdown long-term and you're playing in these lottery style tournaments, that's a prime example. And even Hoop, I think this is one too. Like Showdown is typically the optimal is getting there. Like it's just so often that we will have the optimal. There's a few times we've seen that there's, oh wow, then that wasn't even the optimal. Like that happens. But like some people struggle too with contest selection. They're like, oh, I'm in a 100-man satellite tonight and I'm in the lottery. What should I do? Well, it's like you need the nuts to win anything tonight. Like it's people just have the nuts or very close to it. Even in the biggest tournaments, we'll see like tonight, I think there's a 444, the general or whatever they call it, decent prize pool up and structure up top. But I think it's like usually like 5 to 7 points, if not all the way there where it's like almost the same thing. So you got to have the best lineup no matter what.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
Especially because, I mean, you're talking even that 444, I'm going to look right now, like what the max entrance is, 35? Like plenty of people, not plenty, but there's going to be people putting 35 out there. And once you keep adding that up, you're a lot more likely, someone's more likely to fall on that one.
Yeah, agreed. All right, Hoop, I'll go to you. The kickers and Ds, probably, again, sticking with the theme, it doesn't mean it's right. This game could, like we've seen division teams just face off, especially bad, like, we'll see it. The headline now, they set the clock back. It's Rodgers and Flacco, old school style. Like Flacco's elite. Rodgers is his old self. Look at this back and forth. Who knows how this shit goes? But, that's the point while we're talking through it from a DFS and a slate perspective. But the chat's been talking about like kickers and defenses at captain tonight. How do you feel about that? And then just that position as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with defense because usually I have a pretty boring take on it. Someone posted, it was Kenny. Yeah, big difference. Offensive line versus defensive line. I mean, it's a huge mismatch. I mean, the Bengals offensive line is terrible. Steelers defensive line is good. I mean, you don't even need to be a good defensive line to get through the Bengals offensive line. So I think there is some merit to the Steelers defense tonight. I probably won't be playing them in the captain, but 5,800, they could rack up a lot of sacks, and they are a little more expensive, which I do like to see because it should keep the ownership in check a little bit. They're more expensive than the kickers. So again, it's very rare where I go overweight on the defenses. The defenses are always over-owned. Even when you think they're going to be not over-owned, they're always owned higher than anyone's really anticipating. So I do think the Steelers defense is higher owned than we're thinking, but I think it's a really good spot. So I want at least some. And then good with both kickers. I mean, the one thing we know about the Steelers, they'll take their field goals, man. They will take their field goals till the day they die. Boswell's 54. I think he's a really good play. And then McPherson at 5K is fine. So I'd rank it Boswell, Steelers D, then McPherson, and then not much interest, not a ton of interest, I guess, in the Bengals defense. I wouldn't be opposed to playing some, but I would say a little more interest in defense than I typically have. I do think the Steelers D is in a good spot.
Yeah, I think that's how people would be looking at it if they're going their title, but McPherson's coming in a little bit under the Boswell side because people just assume that they're going to be up and everything, but I could definitely see home kicker and McPherson for the leg that he has still be able to come through here and make it happen. So what's your thoughts on kickers and D? And then just circle back to the captain conversation for 2 seconds as well.
Yeah, I could totally. I mean, both offenses can stall out in the red zone. They'll take their points. I mean, and both of these quarterbacks can't move at all. They're statues. So there's plenty of sack upside on both sides. I'll play the Bengals at 10%. I mean, I love my guy Rodgers, but the dude just can't move at the end of the day, and he'll just shell up and protect the ball and take a sack. I mean, both these teams have 5+ sack upside, and a lot of that, if it's 3rd and 7, clear passing drop back situations, and they take a sack, there goes the field goal unit for a 45-yarder or 50-yarder or whatever. So I like all 4 of them for sure. Hoop, you always got a good eye on it. Steelers defense, they did good pricing it up. People still will click that though. What 5,800? What are we talking in the flex?
I think it's probably
I like where we have it at 24, but it's so hard to predict.
Yeah, I bet probably I would say between 25 and 30, somewhere in there, probably closer to the 30 side of things. And thank you. I appreciate that because I do pride myself on that. I've been pretty good at nailing these defensive ownership things. And I'll say 28. I think it gets to 28. And
they're my least favorite of the 4 for sure. Then I'll take
I think it's got to be between 25 and 30, and I think probably closer to 30. So I'll say 28.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, it's 5,800. There's some real players in that range and a lot for cheaper. You can go Steelers defense, drop down to Jonnu. You just saved 1,800 right there. Easily can be outscored.
Yeah. Part of the reason I've been saying about the defense for years, and I stick to it, and it's really weird, but I think it is true.
You like people starting to see their thing up top?
100%. Like I honestly believe in that. I really, if people are deciding between two spots and they say, oh, well, I'll play the defense because I know when I open up that app, I'm going to be in the green and making money. I swear to God, there's like I don't swear to God, but like there's 2 to 3% of people that will do that. I think it's always increased for that reason.
It's the Thursday night. We're learning this in the survivor pools. It's the Thursday night thing, right? The game always has more ownership than you think.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to be owned. It's like, what the hell? People just want their, give me my win now or get me out of this tournament. One or the other. Like, I think I'm getting it tonight, so give me it. That's what happens.
People that stack the first fight in MMA get their screenshot right away.
Yes. I'm
That's
telling you, there's something to
that's
it.
bad. They don't even have.
Oh, that's really bad for sure.
Yeah, that one's like you should not play. Like you're terrible. But the other ones at least have some validity. It's just they don't have value to Hoop's point. You're probably giving it away. But speaking of Hoop and taking pride in himself and different things that he does well, the head-to-head 6-0 start to the SHIPIT games, first ever NFL SHIPIT games over at SHIPITNation.com. You guys can still get in the games. Go to SHIPITNation.com. You can start with code SHIP19 and then build your account up from there, whatever you want to add on. But Hoopster, I got the winner this week. Number 21, which also could be lucky. A little blackjack action, week 7, 21. Like this could be the thing. The winner is number 21 of 50, Dustin Moorhead.
Oh, that is an intimidating last name, Moorhead.
Yeah, it's like
someone's getting dusted. I don't know if it's you or him, but someone.
Dusted by Dustin Moorhead. There you go.
Yeah, I wish I had more to say, but it's been kind of boring. I mean, 6-0, just continue to march on, undefeated. I got to take my weekly shot at Nades, who just got this started on a horrible path for everyone, subbing in and getting smoked by a lineup that took like 15 seconds to build, and just kind of where we're at. I mean, we set the over-under at 9.5. Now it's got to be 12.5. I mean, hopefully Dustin brings something to the table. I mean, that's all I can hope for at this point.
We were boosting your ego on your defense percentages and your head-to-head battle, but Dustin has more head than you. So I mean, you got a big head right now, but he might have more. So it could be the first ever L for Hoopster with a little 6-1 special. We will have number 22 coming up next with the sheriffship. But before we get to that, anything on FanDuel that you're looking at, Hoopster? Anything over on the FanDuel? Oh, actually, while you're looking at it for 2 seconds, I want to add one point that I just didn't want to miss. Another thing tonight, if you are putting these captains with the kickers or the defenses, it's free on the others. Because here's let me explain this before I say it's free. What you're going to do is, I know you're going to go to the Pittsburgh side, which makes more sense. I get that. But what you're going to do is then it's going to be free to put Jamar Chase in, and I get that. But that's where I'm saying, like, you could just leave it and it's hit. Like, if they're getting crushed, who's to say that Chase is even that? Like, again, you'll think, oh, they're going to throw him the ball more. It may not be working out. That's why they're getting crushed. So now the possibility that a Chase Brown or a T. Higgins or something like that comes through, but you won't be able to do it because you can't leave the money on the table. So just remember that when you're building that stuff out. Again, an optimizer can help you with that. But if not, just think about that when you're building. Just because Jamar Chase fits, there's definitely a world tonight where T. Higgins is needed instead of Jamar Chase, and that's how this stuff works. So go ahead, Hoop.
A couple differences for sure in pricing, and I guess, back to the main point that we always talk about, like, we like some of those pass catchers up top on DK. It's a little harder on FanDuel for DK Metcalf to get there, Jamar Chase, but I think this week, or this game specifically, so I want to embrace that a little bit and still play those guys up top quite a bit. Like, you definitely see the quarterbacks get pushed there, and they're fine plays. I think better plays on FanDuel than on DraftKings, but DK, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, I'd stay on track and make sure to get them up top. And T. Higgins is one of the guys that has a lower price on FanDuel than DK. Like, Jamar Chase is 13.2 on FanDuel. T. Higgins is 8,600. I mean, you're looking at almost $5,000 difference in price. So T. Higgins is definitely one that stands out as cheaper on FanDuel, and same as Jalen Warren, 9,200. Jamar Chase is 10,600. So $1,400 difference between Jalen Warren and Chase Brown on FanDuel, where if you look at DK, Warren is actually $400 more expensive. So those were a couple. Then you got all the cheap dudes that we already talked about. Just want to see. Freiermuth is a little more expensive. He's like 4,600. I don't love that, but Fant 5K, Jonnu Smith 56, So the other tight ends are still cheap. Where's our other dude over here? Darnell Washington, 2,400, still very cheap. So a lot of the same stuff, but Jalen Warren and T. Higgins are the two that are substantially cheaper on FanDuel versus DK.
New ticker up there at the bottom for you, Hoopster.
I love that, man. That's a good one. I really like that one.
Yeah, just put whatever you want up there. Just if anyone didn't hear it, the first 7 weeks, Hoop beat Nate in week 1 head-to-head with just 10 seconds of effort. But this is a good one, actually, right here. Kenny could afford this, too. I'll pay for a golden ticket. We can't give up the integrity of the games, but we could just set that up. That might be the SHIPIT games will live on. Maybe we'll make like a specialty. Someone wants to play somebody for X amount, and we facilitate it, and we work like the escrow, and it's who puts his record on the line versus Kenny, and the community can go against it and put stuff in. We can make some fun around that. But let's see what else we got going on here. Anything else? Someone said Warren is rushing for 2 tonight, Rodgers for 1, Flacco for 1, to Brown out of the backfield to go along with 1 pick. I might just build this lineup right after we get off the show. Like, I think you just gave away the whole winner, right? So
I like that.
We'll put that up there. Anything title for you to add on that stuff before we get to the final golden SHIPIT winner of this week 7 start?
No, who pretty much covered everything I was going to say on FanDuel. So I mean, Darnell's still going to be expensive over there, or Darnell's still way too cheap. He's going to be way more popular over there. The quarterbacks, like Coop said in the beginning, that was the big difference. The pass catchers will be lower owned at MVP relative to DK, I think, and the quarterbacks will be higher. Hoop nailed it. So I got nothing more.
All right. Yeah, I don't see too much else. I think the only thing on FanDuel was like we'll have, this is the initials only, so we'll see how the Darnell ownership shakes out for FanDuel. It should be a little bit higher, I'd imagine. But I wonder too, like I did talk about this last week on the main slate, and I think it applies to Showdown just as much for sure, because you always see like really, even when it's the unique shippers on FanDuel now, which we've seen a ton of this season too, you look at it, it's like, where's the separator in there? And you realize almost always it's like, 4,500 left on the table. That's the separator. Obviously, the more money you leave on the table, you can get away with some chalkier plays because most people that are on that chalk are still spending all the cash. That's part of the edge that we keep talking about. But on FanDuel, on the main slate, I've noted this a ton of times, and it's mainly that you don't really end up you can always afford wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2 instead of needing wide receiver 3. And I wonder if that's how this works tonight, because you've got like Rodgers 18.9, Metcalf 18.3. We've seen like 21,000 and 20,900 and things like that up top, and it's a little bit less for everybody. So maybe that's a possibility. And everyone still knows this. FanDuel sucks, but Hoop and Ham. Shout out to our guy Hamwich. Took down the 10K this past week over on I think it was on Monday actually, in the FanDuel streets. He does our FanDuel slate plan, so you love to see that. But anything else, Hoop, for you? Final thoughts before we announce this final winner?
No, sir. Just good luck to everyone. Let's get week 7 started out on the right foot. Let's get a hot start here and carry that into the weekend, man. Looking forward to this game. I think it's gonna be a fun game. I type on the opening. Like if it's Jake Browning back there, this game probably pretty boring and uneventful. Like Joe Flacco, I think, gives this game a chance to be fun and competitive, and I think it gives the Bengals a chance to win this game. I'm calling the upset tonight. I liked it a little better with Trey Hendrickson in there, but I think the Bengals are going to surprise and win this game.
You remember the old thing? I think you stepped out for a second earlier. I said it to title, but you remember the old thing? +5.5 at home, auto bet +5.5, because I think it was like 70% at one point, which is obviously crushing for the betting streets. But just to note it, I thought that was kind of interesting to see that number sitting here like this. And maybe they do show up with Flacco at the helm, like you said. So we'll have to wait and see. Golden SHIPIT. Where's it at here? Got to turn off this. I got too hyped on the ticker today, boys. We got everybody. We got Golden SHIPIT number 22. The share of ship this week is an incredible one because it's the 555 milli again, $1 million up top. Lucky number 22, my favorite number. With me, week 7. The winner is Kenneth Jones.
Kenneth Jones sounds like a financial advisor.
It probably is. If you Google Kenneth Jones Financial, it'll come right up. An accounting firm or one of each. But yeah, it's definitely going to be.
He's something in finance, which I like our chances with Kenneth out there.
That's what we need. Kenneth, you're in, buddy. So Kenneth Jones, congrats to you. Congrats to Dustin Moorhead. That's the first 2 winners. If you guys are a member and you haven't got the email yet, make sure to check. We'll just say this again and again on these shows, but check your inbox, check your spam, check your junk. What I know is it's also, someone said this, it was hilarious in the chat the other day. They go in the Discord, they said, I went and checked my email and I had one, but it was just my payment receipt. Hope you guys enjoy my cash. And it's like, well, you are getting value for it, but just noting it, it does come from that same email account. And so I think some people probably just move that to their whatever folder and just like separate them. So make sure you check your emails to make sure if you've got that email for the Golden Shipper this week, where somebody will play their way in to ticket number 23, Golden Ship at number 23 for this week. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for this week. Hopefully that was helpful. We got a good game tonight. We'll talk through it. We'll be back tomorrow. We've got a bunch of different stuff going on with the cash show, all those things. And then Saturday, Leverage Lane. Sunday, right back with the three of us, Hoop, Title, and myself, to give our final thoughts. Make sure to hit that thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe for Title, for Hoop, and for myself, ToeTagginTambo. Let's ship it.